Neil, we're looking ahead to Tuesday night's game at Chesterfield. First of all, quickly look back to Saturday, a game that I think I said at the time, it could have finished any scoreline. There were so many chances at both ends, with your team especially missing a couple of late, really gilt-edged chances to try and get something from the game.
Yeah, when you look at, like we said, Marshy's one, it's as clear cut as it comes. I think Fallow's had one far post that he's tried to square. With Lenny's header, Tyler's header, from when Callum headed it back across. Obviously Kai had one in the first half. So I think in respect of them chances, we played some good stuff, and I thought, like I said before, between the boxes, we were more than a match for them away from home. We just didn't get the boxes right. Unfortunately, they're the margins that I think if Marshy scores to make it 2-2, we'll probably come away from the game with something. And it's disappointing because I don't like making excuses, but they're the fine margins that swing games either way.
When you go though away to the league leaders, as you're going to do tomorrow night, surely if you're going to get anything, you can't afford to miss chances like that, can you?
Yeah, because we might not get as many. Yeah, we've got to do both ends better than we did on Saturday, because there's no doubt Chesterfield are, probably along with Barnet, are the best teams in the league. Somebody asked me at the start of the season who I thought would win our league, and I said Chesterfield. I thought they were unfortunate not to get promoted last season. I think they've got an outstanding manager who knows how to get promotion, and they've added good quality players to a squad that was already one of the best in the league. So, it's going to be tough, we know that.
How do you look at this game then? Is it a daunting challenge that your side's facing? Is it an exciting challenge that they're facing? For
me, it's exciting, because I've got to try and come up with a way of getting something from the game and thwarting a good team. I hope the players feel the same. That's what I tried to say to them at the end of training today. Be excited by the challenges. But obviously when results haven't gone as well as we'd hoped over the course of the season, you never know what frame of mind the players are in. If they match my positivity, they'll be right up for the game.
Is the case then to try and stay in it for as long as you possibly can? Maybe treat it as though you were an underdog and keep as strong and as steady as you possibly can, and maybe play on the counter?
Well, yes. I don't for a minute think we want to just make the game nice and wide and open, because you look at Chesterfield result, they've scored high scores in the league, but also they've conceded quite a few. So we've got to get all parts of our game right. We've got to match the energy. They're going to be fresh. The game was called off the weekend. There's no excuses. No excuses in football. Go out there, roll your sleeves up. Whatever the game plan is, let's try and execute it. But they have to take, and Coxie said it last week, a bit of responsibility for being brave enough to play when it's on, knowing when it's not on, getting their 1v1 defending, covering each other, helping each other, expecting each other to make a mistake, and then when it does get to the nitty-gritty at both ends, being calm at one end and seeing danger at the other.
Your team, is everyone available who played the weekend? And then I suppose the obvious question then is, Dan Batty, Depot and the likes, are they going to be available?
Crooksy's struggling with tight hamstrings, so Crooksy's a doubt. Depot, I would say, is 50-50. We'll do a fitness test on him. Dan Batty's probably not at the moment. So, it's not ideal, but again, I'm not going to sit here and go, I haven't got this or I haven't got that. Whatever team we've got, I've got to focus on the 11 players, the 15, the 16, whatever it is. I've got to focus on them to try and get a result. And it's going to be a tough challenge, we know that. We'll just do our best.
When you say Depot's 50-50, is it sort of player or a game that you feel as though you maybe have to take a risk in, or if there's any risk whatsoever, do you leave him out?
It won't be my call. It will be, if Depot's not right, he won't play. If Depot is right, he's got a chance. So it won't be my call for sure. That call will be made whether his ankle's right or not.
Aidan Marsh, what's happened with this line?
Aidan Marsh, we're extending Aidan, we're extending Will as well. They're two players we want to extend. Well, I say we want to extend them both. So I'm hoping that between the clubs will get agreed, because with the injury list we have got, we do need to keep a strong sort of 16-man squad and keep the balance. And like I said to you before, we're actively looking to improve in areas we feel we need to.
Have you spoken to Will about playing on that left-hand side defence? Of course you will have spoken to him, but we know that's not his natural position. I know we spoke about this again at the weekend. Is he understanding why he's been asked to sort of fill in a little bit at the minute here, where he can't maybe show his full quality? I
didn't ask Will to play left side of the defence. I think between the three of them, the only thing we said was when we first went to a back three, we wanted to put Tyler in the middle, because the way Tyler can play out from the back might suit, rather than limiting him to one side, which I think we've seen some good qualities from that. And then Will and Callum can sort out which side they play. I think, you know, there's a lot of centre-halves that really struggle, right-sided centre-halves that struggle on the left. I don't think Will does. Yeah, naturally, when you're on that side, you know, he's not probably as confident as left, but I don't think he physically struggles playing on the left compared to some people I have seen play there. So I'm comfortable with it. Whether we play a 3, a 5, a 4, you know, that's up to them to decide who plays where. And I think Will's gone, no, I'm happy to play on the left.
I presume that if you were to play 3 or a 5, would Paddy go across that left hand side? Is he your number one option?
You pick him on team for me.
Well, I'm just trying to work it down having the options, so it's maybe a little bit easier than it should be.
Well, it's probably easier for you to guess. Yeah, again, we've got to try and come up with a way of being competitive in the game, and with the players we've got. But like I've said, I said it 4 or 5 weeks ago, our balance in the left back spot wasn't there. And that's showed by the fact that we're playing Crooksy out of position really as a wing back when he wasn't. He's not one, he's more of a centre half than he is a wing back. You know, Thierry's back on the training pitch but needs at least a week, probably longer to get his levels where they are, otherwise he'll break down again. So, yeah, it is what it is.
The other injured players as well, Callum Harriott, Jack Stott, are they anywhere near being available for selection?
Stott, he's back training, so he's in and around the sort of 16, 18. Callum Harriott, no. Like I said, Callum's been fit, injured all season, so there's obviously a glaring issue there because he keeps breaking down. And I think the physios know that they've got to get him right, otherwise we're going to have the same boat. But I don't know whether that's been a theme over more than just this season. So, you know, again, that's on the medical department to try and get that right.
I know we're sort of going over our ground and keep asking the same questions, I suppose, but the players coming into the football club, do you think there could be any this week? Even if it's not for tomorrow?
You know what, well, tomorrow's it's going to be, you know, I've had some positive conversations with the owner, owners about it, and they know that we do need to try and strengthen them. I've told them the areas I feel like we really do need to try and strengthen. It's a difficult one because we've done a lot of work on a couple of players, so we've put an awful lot of work into a couple. Whether we can do them or not is a different kettle of fish. Whether the clubs or they want too much is a different kettle of fish. And then going forward, you know, as a club behind the scenes, there's a lot of things we've been doing. We've appointed a new sports scientist, new kit man, new data analysis for recruitment, who we feel is really going to help us move forward. But all these people are due to start in November, although we've had conversations with them, they're due to start in November. So there's lots of things going forward that will be, for me, will be really exciting. For the club, will progress, but there's nothing that's going to turn around and make a difference right now. Could we get 2 in by the end of the week? It'd be a really good week if we do, and I'll be delighted, but we're certainly working on it.
I suppose the issue is you don't want the season just to drift, do you? Even if you think you will pull away from the position you're currently in, you want to try and push as hard as the league as you possibly can and get a stronger squad as you possibly can for, say, the FA Cup title comes around for Chester.
Well, I want to win games of football. I think I've given most of the players a chance to show me what they can, can't do. Some of it's dictated what shape I need to play, what I don't. But at the end of the day, I want to win games of football, and at the moment, we haven't been doing good enough to win games of football regularly. I think we've done better. I think there's been improvements. But you've been at all the games, I've been at all the games. I'm used to producing good numbers in my games that give you a chance of winning more regularly. And we're not really doing that yet. So that tells me that if we don't start to get better players or improve, we'll probably fall on the wrong side of results more than we will the right side of results. And that's not me being negative, because I want to be really, really positive. But we need to do better. Yeah, I'm not there thinking, oh, this season will be fine. I'm there thinking we need to get better. And still frustrating because of the cup replay. And I think we still only had probably 2-4 weeks of training since I've been here because of the games and the fixtures and the replay last week. So there's loads we can work on and improve. But I think we've definitely got a short-term plan. One is to get the next couple of weeks trying to improve the squad. One is to improve it going into Christmas. One is to try and come out of Christmas a bit stronger. But like I said, we've got a lot of players and we need to do a bit of trading both ways, really.
Great, thank you.
Neil, first of all, just looking back at the Easter game, just how frustrated are you to not take anything away from that with the chance that you did have?
Yeah, football's a strange game because I feel like in some of the games, you know, like the Bromley game, I didn't think we was great, and the stats will tell you we probably deserved to lose the Bromley game, and yet we was 30 seconds away from winning the game without a brilliant performance. And yet I thought, by and large, for large parts of the game on Saturday, we played quite well. I thought we created a lot of chances away from home, but we didn't defend well enough, and we've ended up falling them on the wrong side of the margins because of our missed chances. So that's why I said after the game I was quite pleased with parts of the performance, but obviously annoyed with the result.
And you must be gutted for Aidan Marsh with the chance that he had that he missed, but in a way pleased that he's got another chance to show you what he can do.
Yeah, I wouldn't say gutted was the word that for Aidan Marsh. I'd say disappointed he didn't score it, but Marsh is a great lad, and like I said, we have no blame culture. We just sort of keep working on strengths, weaknesses, everything we can do to improve the team and the players, and we have to come away from it, take the defeat and move on, and like we said, we've got another tough one now.
And now York City have the second most defensive record in the league. I mean, before the season I think fans thought the defence would be the least of the worries with Callum Howe and Tyler Corder coming in, but what is it, do you think, that's gone wrong there?
There's probably loads of things. It's probably not just a culmination of one or two things. At the end of the day, when it comes to defending goals, I always like to say you defend from the front and you play from the back. So, the defenders are responsible for the quality we go forward with, and the forwards are responsible for the way we defend from the front and make the play easier for the defenders to deal with. But ultimately, the buck will always stop with the defenders and the goalie, because they're the ones that are going to be in the positions when that cross does come in to defend it properly. And that's the bit we're not doing well enough. We haven't marked well enough in the box. We haven't got tight enough to people. We've marked space rather than players, and it's communication hasn't been good enough. And there's a number of things, but no one player can just solve it on its own. We've got to play like a back four or a back five with a goalie, or a back five or a back six with a goalie. We've got to play as a unit. We've got to cover each other. We've got to expect dangers. The second goal on Saturday, we're not covering round well enough. There's always one mistake, two mistakes, three mistakes, and until we eradicate them, we're going to concede goals. But if we eradicate them, we know that we can create chances the other end.
Just about a third of the season gone so far now. Are you concerned at all by the league position?
Of course, absolutely. I hate being down there. I hate being down in that position. I told you we look at a points per game scenario. Up until Saturday, we'd got 12 points in 8 games, I think, and that's a 1.5 points per game sort of ratio. That gets you up in the top sort of 10. So you go, okay, that's good upturn in form from being in almost bottom of the league to having form that puts you up in the top 10 in form, and that's what we've got to keep doing. But we won't do it if we perform like we did at Eastleigh in our boxes, and then we've got to take that into now what, as we know, is going to be a really tough game against the best team in the league.
As you say, it's Chesterfield on Tuesday night, away to the league leaders. Don't get any easy, does it?
No, but again, it's challenges away to the best team in the league, and we've got to rise to that. If we turn up there and think, well, we haven't got much chance, then we'll get beaten easy, and that's not what I've worked on today. That's not what I've installed into them. We've given Chesterfield the absolute respect they deserve. They're a good team. If we don't get our elements right and we don't come together tomorrow as a group, we'll get rolled over, and I don't want that to happen, and hopefully the players don't.
It's sad that they're practically scoring for fun at the moment. How do you stop them from scoring with the attack force that they've got?
Defend as a team, can only do it together. All it needs, we've got to be perfect with where we are in our form, and injuries or whatever it happens to be. We've got to go out there and be perfect. We've got to match their energy, their intensity. But they're a high intensity team. Cookie always has his teams at it. I've always had great battles against Cookie. I think he's the best manager in the league, and that's the challenge we've got.
Unlike York City, who played Saturday, Tuesday, Chesterfield, they've had a game postponed, they've not had to play midweek, so they've had 10 days off. You've got to see that as an advantage for them.
We can make excuses, can't we? At the end of the day, it's what it is. That's the position we put ourselves in. We've got to deal with it. I'm not going to sit here and go, they're fresher than us, or they haven't got an injury list like us. That's down to us. That's down to the pre-season we had. That's down to the robustness of our players. That's down to the things we're doing in-house that aren't good enough or haven't been good enough, that we've got to get better. that's down to us having a replay last week because we didn't play well enough last Saturday in the cup. They're all down to us. We've got to brush that aside. That's no one else's problem. That's our problem. We've got to deal with it.
On the team, you've got quite a few injuries. Some of them that you've covered. Leviander, Mazkuya, are they any closer?
I haven't seen them out on the training field, so that tells me they're not any closer. And again, that's a big area that we need to improve on. Is you can see, I think we've got 11 players out injured. I think most I've ever had 6 at one point, and too many muscle injuries, and that's a sign of players not being able to handle the load put on their bodies. Why? Well, is it the work that's been done at the training field in their robustness, in their gym, in their prehab work, their rehab work? Is it fitness levels? You know, could be a number of things, but it's something that we've got to get miles better at.
Tomorrow brings the end of 3 away games now. Fans have travelled in numbers throughout all of them. I've got a message for them.
That they're brilliant, like seriously brilliant. The noise they made on Saturday was unbelievable. You know, they've got to stick with us, and they will, because they are them sort of fans. They're brilliant, but you know, we've got to. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to be able to put a team together at this precise moment that can perform week in, week out the way they want them to. That's going to take time. What we need to do at the moment is they need to see their team putting everything out on the pitch to improve the areas that we haven't been good enough at. And if they see that, the results will probably be better, and they'll accept that probably for now, while we try and grow and become a much better footballing team and much more exciting to watch and all these kind of things. But you need to see that first part, and if we give them that, I'm sure they'll have no complaints.
Thanks, Neal.